My running career ended, Johnny, because I got a career-ending injury in my leg.
No,
So
no, no way.
basically, it happened, and it happened so early on. Like literally, I was just kind of coming into my. I wasn't even in the sport that long, to be honest. Most of my sport, put it this way, most of my running career, I was injured and trying to get back from the injury. So I had this
Mm,
one kind of glorious year where my trajectory was vertical. I was winning races. People were saying, "Who's this guy? Where's he come from?" Looked fantastic. And just after that race, I told you about that 100K race. I had an injury and I didn't take care of it because I was too competitive with myself. Like I refused to.
hmm
I was like, I don't want to lose my
So
fitness. I'm not going to rest it.
you said that you use sports psychology to get through that sort of late to under. What's the fundamental difference between sports psychology and general psychology, or um,
Yeah, so that's a good question. I mean, sports psychology is very much transmissible to life in general. What it's about is about trying to raise your inner expectations in a very deep rooted way. So, right in the subconscious, so it's really picking apart all of those self beliefs that are limiting. So, what do you tell yourself about how you're not meant to be good? You're not worthy enough. What are all those thoughts that have been put in there over the years by other people? Those thoughts that when you was a child and people were saying, you're no good at this, you're no good at that. How do you remove them and take away all of those hidden limiters so that you can then excel yourself into a future far, far quicker than should be possible? Is it possible? Well, it is, but you have to really rewire that brain. So, as an athlete, what you're trying to do is imagine yourself as somebody who is capable of successes that are far exceeding your natural ability or where you are right now. So it's almost like conditioning the brain to expect greatness and not in a very egotistical or superficial way because it
that's
doesn't
what I was
work.
thinking about the aspects of how to control one's ego during that process, because that just seems like, wow, how would you get there? I mean, that gives you such a a brilliant amount of power to make good decisions based on positive outcomes in your own independent in your own life, in your individual life. That's such a if so keep going. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I mean, I had a coach, and he was the British champion in ultra trail, but he had a very very interesting training philosophy in that he used to tell me it doesn't matter how many miles a week you run, Mike. And I used to run 100 miles a week every week. That was it. So I was like, that it was a full-time job, and I went part-time in my career so I could fully invest myself, financially, psychologically. I didn't go anywhere, didn't speak to anyone. I lived like the monk. When you mentioned the monk, that's what my life was like. Like I didn't see anyone. Even Christmas Day, I run 20 miles on
Mm,
Christmas Day every year. It was part of my, it didn't matter
wow.
how cold it was or what time of day it was. If I'd worked all day and it overrun it was 9 p.m., if I needed to get the miles in, I was running. So it was very much a monk-like lifestyle. But I guess my coach used to say, Mike, it doesn't matter how much you run. What matters is the non-physical training, which is what you're doing on your mind, your visualizations, your limiting self-beliefs, getting them out of your head, really working on them. So what language do you use? For example, Johnny, a lot of people would say to you, "Oh, how's your running going, Johnny?" You say, not bad. Not bad. Like you really want to qualify it with a not bad, like a negative. It's like, no, you have to really get rid of all of that. You really have to take away every potential limiter that's there, and it's an arduous process. But when you do it, what you find is your subconscious mind then is freed up to absorb more positive things, which can actually help you. And I used to work with people as a counselor, and it was much the same process, John. It was trying to help them work through all of the shit that had been put in their head growing up, all of the negativity, get rid of that.
hmm
And now you've got
hmm
that clean slate and you can build upon that, any kind of amazing structure that you want over time. But there has to be evidence too. So, I mean, you have to be putting in the work. It's not like you read these books, people say, oh, you can just manifest the future. It's like, no, there is a truth to that, but it has to be paired with an extreme amount of hard work.
hmm
And your capacity for that is going to be different throughout your life. If I meet somebody who's clinically depressed, their capacity for hard work might be brushing the teeth and getting back in bed. They got out of bed once a day. that's hard work for them. So it's always about that person's capacity at the time. So, I mean, as an athlete, your goal is to try and raise that capacity to its maximum, but without going over the edge where you get a life-limiting injury or a career-ending injury, which is what happened to me. It wasn't life-limiting, but it was career-ending. So that's a long response to the question. Yes, I still run, but I have to listen to my body, and it's always there. I can, I feel blessed every day that God allows me to go out and do 5-10 miles if He does. If not, I train at home. There's a million other workouts that I can do, but I love to get out, Johnny, if I can. But I just have to listen to that body, and treat it with respect. I don't treat it as something to abuse. As a runner, you're running 100 miles a week. If you feel injured, you're trying to push through it. It's like, no, I learned balance after running. That's one of the key lessons I took away from it.